the special meeting to order. Will everybody please rise for the prayer?
Dear Heavenly Father, we are grateful for the smooth opening of school and for the many great things that continue to happen in our school district. We pray that you continue to bless us with the support of our parents and this community as we work hard to make this a great year for teaching and learning. These things we ask in your name. Amen.
Ms. White, will you lead us in pledge, please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Ms. Foche, roll call, please.
Mrs. Acevedo? Here. Mr. Campbell?
Here.
Mr. Egan?
Here.
Mrs. Jackson?
Here.
Ms. Lemoyne?
Here.
Mrs. Dysart? Here. Mr. England?
Here.
Mr. Long?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Warner?
Here.
Mrs. White?
Here.
Thank you, Ms. Foche. Okay, we move on to item number 4, ratification of employees contract between the St. Bernard Association of Educators and the St. Bernard Parish School Board. Tonight we have Mr. Dennis Bradley. Would you come up, sir, and introduce all that's with you tonight?
Yes, I'm Dennis Bradley. I was the chief negotiator on the contract negotiations with the parish, and we have some of our, not all, but some of our bargaining team members here today. If you'd like to stand up and introduce yourselves. No? I knew that was going to happen, but they're shy. They're teachers. No, but a lot of hard work put in by them, and Ms. Foche especially too. We sat down and we worked out a contract that we think is equitable and very fair, and gives everybody in this parish in this system a raise, a nice raise at that. So we're happy with that. And we had our vote just this past week, and it passed overwhelmingly. The employees accepted it, and so now it's your turn to do the same.
Well,
Any questions?
Well, I'm certainly glad that we all could work together,
Yeah.
to get all this settled for another, 4 years, Mr. Foche? Yeah, it's another 4-year contract. So we thank all of y'all for your hard work and your dedication to our school system. We need a vote for the board. I'm sorry, Ms. Foche, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I'd like to say something too. Like Dennis said, we had a very good session where we went through, we did a lot of language clearing up and worked on a few issues that we needed to. And I just want to make the statement for this school board that is sitting around this horseshoe, because for the last couple of years y'all have directed us. We know and we knew that we had to and we wanted to gather whatever resources that we had for pay raises for our employees. Our teachers need to be competitive with other teachers in the region. Our support people also need to be competitive. While we offer great benefits sometimes, the actual salaries really do need to be beefed up. And I know that you as a school board have made that a priority. We took every penny that we had from those industrial tax exemption program that we talked about, with the monies that we have been saving from the maintenance, and as that other millage was redirected toward the maintenance of schools, so we put those monies that freed up in the general fund, which are recurring, put those aside for pay raises. The MFP that came through, a portion was dedicated for that $1,000 raise for teachers and $500 for support people, but then we turned around the operational piece that was dedicated to the operation of the school systems. We turned that around to boost the pay raises as much as we could at your direction. So as Dennis was talking about, the pay raises, with including the state pay raise, for example, for teachers of $1,000, we were able to couple that locally with an additional $2,600 for a $3,600 pay raise for our teachers, which puts our starting pay right over $46,000, which is then competitive with the salaries in our region. Our 9-month support people with the $500 pay raise from the state, we couple that with an additional $1,300 locally for a total of an $1,800 pay raise. Our 12-month support people, the $500 from the state coupled with the $1,600 local for a $2,100 pay raise. So we did everything that we could to put this package together with the monies that were available and the recurring funds that we think we're going to be having through the programs that I just mentioned. So I just wanted to make that clear what these monies would be and where they're coming from. And I think everybody feels good about that we've all worked together to get this as high as we possibly can within our existing revenue structure.
Thank you, Ms. Foche. Mr. Long?
Well, I'd like to congratulate Ms. Foche on your efforts and the board. I mean, I know we've been working on this and thinking about it for quite a few years. Just as after Katrina, when we built this parish, this school system from the ashes, so to speak, we've purchased all new school buses, and we have them all air conditioned. And now I think we're able to come up with as far as I can remember, the largest pay raise at one time for teachers that is recurring. And we did all of this without going to the taxpayers for any new tax revenue. And I think that's fantastic. It's a credit to Doris and the administration. You guys have really done a great job for our employees. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Long. Anyone else? Ms. Dysart?
Yes, excuse me. I think every one of the board members are extremely excited about the raises that we've, long time coming, we've wanted to give to the teachers. We know that you all definitely deserve more money, and we're so excited that this year we were able to come up with $3,600, well, $1,000 from the state and then $2,600 from our local. And as Ms. Foche said, it was a matter of putting money on the side, and then with the exemptions, tax exemptions on the industrial tax, that we decided to not renew. And so we're all extremely excited to be able to do this, and I congratulate Mr. Bradley and the union and the administration for working so closely together. And I just sincerely thank all of our teachers who are wonderful, and our administration. I say it all the time, we're blessed in St. Bernard Parish. It's all about the people, and our students are just very, very blessed to have so many wonderful professionals working alongside them every day. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dysart. In fact, my wife, she's been working for the school system 41 years, and she came up to me the other day after it was ratified by the union. She said, that's the largest pay raise they ever got.
Exactly.
And that's the truth. That's
That is.
as far as that goes.
Mr.
So, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, and I think we need a motion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion that we ratify
Sure.
the employee contract between the St. Bernard Parish
second.
Association of Educators and the St. Bernard Parish School
Okay,
Board.
and it's second by Mr. Long. Mr. Campbell, you have...
Unless the board would wish to do a joint acclamation.
I think we should.
Everyone?
Right, well,
Okay.
wait, Mr. Campbell has something to say. Huh?
All right.
Go ahead, Mr. Campbell.
I shared this with the board when we discussed this earlier. $3,600. When I hired on as a teacher, that was my salary. $3,600. And I'm happy for you. I wish I was back teaching again. Thanks.
Okay, so everybody's ready for a joint acclamation? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Boom. And thank you again, folks. Great. Okay. Well, for the special meeting, we need an adjournment, a special meeting, before we go into a committee meeting. So we move with Mr. Campbell, second by Mr. Egan. All in favor? Aye. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
5 minutes.
5 minutes, we'll start the regular committee meeting.
Dennis?
I'd like to call the general committee meeting to order, please. Will everybody please rise for the prayer?
Dear Heavenly Father, we are grateful for the smooth opening of school and for the great many things that continue to happen in our school district. We pray that you continue to bless us with the support of our parents in this community as we work hard to make this a great year for teaching and learning. These things we ask in your name.
Mr. Campbell, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Ms. Foche, roll call, please.
Mrs. Acevedo? Here. Mr. Campbell? Here. Mr. Egan? Here. Mrs. Jackson? Here. Ms. Lemoyne? Here. Mrs. Dysart? Here. Mr. England?
Here.
Mr. Long?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Warner?
Here.
Mrs. White? Here.
Thank you. Ms. Dysart, I understand you've got a point of privilege?
Yes, Mr. England, thank you very much. At this time, I would just like to congratulate Ms. Tessie White Stein on behalf of the entire board. We're very happy and honored that she has been selected as the Louisiana Reading Association Administrator of the Year.
Ooh.
So another one of our very professional teachers, well, she's actually an administrator, has led in the state of Louisiana, and she was named the Administrator of the Year. In addition, the St. Bernard Reading Council Association has the record for an award for the highest membership in the state. So congratulations to Tessie and to the St. Bernard Reading Association.
And I just want to reiterate what a great job she has done with the Reading Association. It has been a very strong organization for many years, and you see them come each and every year before us and talk with us about the things they're doing to promote reading within our school district and within the community. And now Tessie has added to that long legacy of teachers who have made it strong and has been recognized by the state. So we're very, very proud of her. We're very proud of the Reading Association here in St. Bernard Parish and of all the teachers who have made it what it is today. So,
You're making us shine, huh? That's great.
Mr. England,
Yes.
and I just would like to acknowledge Miss White, one of our board members, who is a proud parent right now. And congratulations to you, too.
Congratulations. Okay. Mr. Warner, you have asked for a point of privilege also.
Thank you, Mr. England. I just wanted to introduce Kate Duty. She's one of our very own. She's a librarian at Miro Elementary, Arlene Miro Elementary, excuse me, and she is a candidate for Senate seat, the 3rd District in the state of Louisiana. Why don't you come up, Kay, and introduce yourself to...
Kay Duty, born and raised in Arabi, Louisiana, and with the exception of the 8 years following Katrina, have lived and worked my entire life in St. Bernard Parish in Arabi. I'm currently teaching at Miro as a librarian. This is my 34th year in education. So I've been, I've told the kids, I've been telling the kids all week, I've been teaching longer than some of their parents have been alive, which is kind of scary. Anyway, it's just on a whim that I'm doing this. There are 3 men from New Orleans, and I kind of felt like I wanted St. Bernard to be represented. So it's a long shot, and it's just going to be a grassroots thing. But education is my passion. Y'all have done wonderful. That phrase is absolutely great. Education, though, still we have some things that need to be fixed, and what better than somebody in the trenches? So that is going to be my platform. That's what I'm working for. I told Sean, it's just going to be me, not accepting contributions. I'm going to look for endorsements, but I'm not accepting contributions. I'm not going to spend any money. I'm just talking to people. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To-
And
to-
good luck.
Thank you, Kay. Good luck to you.
You're going to find it's going to be a very special experience. Okay. I have a point of privilege also that I want to mention. Last month, a few of the board members, we went to the Southern Regional Leadership Conference, and we had Chalmette Jazz Band came there, and also the ROTC. They did a fabulous job. The Southern Conference Leadership Conference was Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas. They had over 600 delegates there. So we shine, St. Bernard shine at this convention. Also, Lamar and I, and I think Ms. White was in that class too, and I think Ms. Esteveda was there too, and we was in one of the sessions, and this lady from Mississippi got up and says, "It made my whole conference by listening to that jazz band for how to start off the conference." So that made us kind of proud, you know, as far as that goes. So it shows that we got something down here that a lot of people don't know, that what we really have, and it's special. It really is special. So I just wanted to mention that, and thanks to the Chalmette Jazz and also the ROTC. Thank you.
And just to piggyback on that for a moment, those kids and their teachers got up at the crack of dawn to be at the session downtown in New Orleans and open that particular conference. So we sure want to give a shout out to the new band director at Chalmette High School, Caleb Lambert, along with Jason Rusk, who is now the talented teacher, but is helping and working with Caleb with the band. And I think Charles Gasol was there as well. And of course, Alex was there representing us as well. So it's just, and Sergeant Shepard with the ROTC. So I just wanted to make sure that these kids do a fantastic job. The leaders of their group, though, are what makes and gives the kids the opportunities to shine in that way and represent our parish and our communities.
Right. And I apologize, Ms. Dysart was also there, you know, at the conference. So I don't want to mess up that. So, okay, so anybody else? That's it? Okay, move on to item number 5. Item number 4, Super News. Ms. Snyder, glad to have you here.
Good evening, good evening. The school year is upon us, and with each year, the communications team has been very busy making sure that our parents and our community members have the information they need for a successful year. As with last year, and I believe you received at our last board meeting, we did distribute our community brochure, and then our community and school calendars went out at the beginning of school last week to all of our parents and families. I believe Ms. Shelby has a copy of those, or you've received a copy of those as well. So that's very exciting. We receive a lot of positive feedback from our families on that. It's just an easy way for them to be able to plan for the school year. Each summer and leading up to the school year, the men of Penn and I work very hard on putting together our beginning of school Super News. This was the first year, however, we decided to do it in 2 segments. So the first segment actually went on Facebook for our families in July as a way to provide information for them. It was very informative, but it really kicked off the start times and dress code and things that parents needed to know for the July month. We then tonight have also produced a second Super News that is a little bit shorter but features some of the great things that have happened in the last week or so as students came back. So without further ado, I will have Barry and Jack take it from here.
Now from the desk of the superintendent's office, it's time for Super News.
Hi, I'm Alex Schneider.
Hi, and I'm Barry Lemoyne, and welcome to Super News, and welcome back to another school year.
We'll kick things off with a quick look back at this year's summer production of Once Upon a Mattress. Each year, through its production of a Broadway classic, the Academy fosters teamwork, professionalism, and a true love for performance. This year's comedic romp truly was a blast for all who took part, performers, techies, and audience members.
I'm in love with a girl. He's in love with a girl. Hey, girl. Oh,
And speaking of receptive audiences, nearly 900 of our school employees gathered at the Civic Center for our annual kickoff, our back-to-school rally. With the theme of connection as the focus, the event was a reminder of the importance of working together and connecting with our students, our community, and of course with each other. Superintendent Doris Voce also shared some big news that made everyone there very happy.
We've been putting together a package, hopefully to coincide with that statewide raise. And what we have offered, and what our board has done, is put together a financial package that we're hoping is going to show up in your first paycheck on August 31st. An additional to certificated staff, an additional $2,600 to raise that amount for teachers for this coming year to a $3,600 pay raise, which is going to put us fairly comparable with the surrounding areas.
Later that same week, we welcomed our students officially back to school. From classrooms to bathrooms, our teachers and staff worked tirelessly to make the start of another school year a special one.
On behalf of Andrew Jackson and everyone in this school district, have a great year, everyone.
Have a great school year.
And now that school is open, we would like to share with you a very important message from the members of our transportation department.
Don't pass the bus.
Don't pass the bus, baby.
Don't pass the bus.
Don't run a kid over.
Don't pass the bus.
Don't pass the bus, baby.
Don't pass the bus.
Even though this is a playful tune and our transportation department had a little fun with it, our message is deadly serious. The most important job in education is keeping our children safe. Too often, too many motorists disregard these stop signs and in turn jeopardize our precious cargo. the children of our community. So please help us keep our kids safe. And whenever you're driving in your vehicle and you see our signs, remember, don't pass the bus.
Don't pass the bus.
Don't pass the bus, baby.
Don't pass the bus.
Don't run a kid over.
Don't pass the bus.
Don't pass the bus, baby.
Don't pass the bus.
So when you see the stop sign, stop. Our lives depend on it.
Well, that will just about wrap it up for this special back-to-school edition of Super News. But before we go, we wanted to remind everyone about our upcoming Day of Reflection breakfast taking place at Chalmette High School's Lacoste Campus Gymnasium on August 29th. Tickets are $10 and can be purchased by calling 504-301-2000. Join us for food, fun, and fellowship at our 14th annual breakfast.
And would also like to tip our cap and congratulate Chris Deere, who was recently named as the 2020 Louisiana Teacher of the Year by the Louisiana Department of Education at the 13th Annual Cecil J. Picard Educator Awards, held in Baton Rouge. Deere, a proud product of our school system, said teaching in St. Bernard is his small way of giving back to the community that gave him so much.
With this new platform, I hope to continue to build on equity in education and hold my vision strong that all students, no matter your background or where you're from or where you come from, once you enter those classroom doors, you deserve the absolute best education that we can give, and you deserve to be reflected in every single classroom. So,
Congratulations, Chris, and best of luck as you prepare for the national competition. We know you will represent us well.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Super News.
Where we always let
The
Super
Super
News
News
roll.
roll.
We'll see you next time. Have a good school year, everybody.
That's a great job. Any questions for Ms. Snyder or comments? Ms. Foche?
I just have one more piece of super news, I suppose, or good news. I think you saw on the, a clip of the summer performing academies, Once Upon a Mattress, which was, I mean, just absolutely thrilling, breathtaking, and extremely professional. One of our community citizens, Fred Segura, then called me and came to my office to talk with me about helping to support that Performing Arts Academy. He made an extremely generous donation for this year of $5,000 to that particular program and intends to do it again next year. He said that he and his family have been theater goers their whole lives. He supports Le Petit Theatre, Rivertown, Tulane Summer Lyric series, and he just feels that our program rivals all of those anywhere in the metro area. So he wanted to support the program. He didn't want a whole lot of publicity, didn't want to get his picture taken, but I really feel that I wanted to recognize that effort, because what our kids are doing as they perform not only within our community, but as Mr. England mentioned earlier, outside of the community, it generates a lot of support for our programs here in St. Bernard, and more people are coming to realize the quality productions that our students do each and every day in all aspects, the performing arts, and of course academically, athletically as well. But we're focusing right now on that Performing Arts Academy, and they've done an exceptional job. So I just wanted to thank Mr. Segura for that donation, and thanking him for being a part, because I see him he and his family at every production. So wanted to acknowledge that.
Mr. Long?
Ms. Foche, I know Mr. Segura probably doesn't want a lot of publicity, but maybe can we get a letter together for him, maybe, or or maybe a plaque or something that we can present to him? It's a generous donation, and he's going to do it in
For 2 years.
For
This
2
year, next
years.
year, he committed to,
Perfect,
yes.
perfect. Great. Thank you.
We really appreciate the secure family. Okay, thank you, Ms. Snyder. All right, move on to item number 5. This is recognition of receipt of the GFOA, that's Government Financial Officers Association, and the ASBO, Association of School Board Officials Awards for Excellence in Financial Reporting. Mr. Fernandez, would you take center stage, sir? I think this is for the 25th year or something of that nature. It's every year we got this. It's the same thing. You know,
I know.
you're doing great.
Getting to be all hat, huh?
No, with the staff that you have, you know, just a small staff you have, and get this award for 25 years for fiscal agency is tremendous, and we appreciate your effort.
You know, and you're right, it is a team effort. It is a reflection of not only the staff, but the policies set up by the board and superintendent. And it's hard work, but it's worth it, and I think it reflects well. And not only is the award reflect the financial statements and the notes and the exhibits in the financial statements, it's also a presentation of the financial statements. And I just wanted to mention there's a person that has been helping us for years with the financial statements in terms of the covers and the presentation. We did the statements on the inside, but the look of the financial statements was primarily due to her, and that's the lady by the name of Miss Pat Acevedo. And she was a long-term employee of the school system, and even after she retired, she stayed working for us doing these statements every year. And she just informed me this year that she was going to have to retire from that as well. So this award is for her last statements that she contributed to. And I just wanted to make mention of her because she has contributed greatly to putting together statements and the way they looked over the years. And that is a big part also of the award. Not only the content of the financial statements, but also the presentation. So her, as well as all the other staff, I think they deserve a lot of congratulations.
She was a tremendous asset to our school system,
Yes.
Ms. Acevedo. Tremendous secretary, so we wish her well.
Yes,
And we
I do
want to
as
thank her.
And I've got to echo that. When I moved to the central office and it became, at one point, the assistant superintendent, she was my secretary, and there was no finer secretary or person that you ever want to meet. And she has, because of Katrina, had to move out of St. Bernard and relocate, but that was her tie back to us, that every year she would come and do that for us because that was such an integral part of what she felt she could continue to contribute to the community. So it's been now 14 years that she's been coming back and doing it out of the goodness of her heart. So she's a wonderful, wonderful person, and we're going to miss her hands in that project, but we still keep in touch. So wanted to thank you again, Pat Acevedo. And then, of course, you know, I don't have anything new to say about this because every year we come back and we say the same things.
Right.
A wonderful job that David and his small staff have done, but it's with the cooperation of not only the policies that are set here, but the cooperation at the school level. You know, sometimes people don't know why we need this documentation and why you have to go through these processes. Well, the quickest thing is to get in trouble is when you're dealing with money and if it's not accounted for properly. And we've had not even, the presentation in this award is one thing, but when we've gone through countless audits, we have never had a question cost, never had a finding, never had an adjustment, never even suggestions for improvements on internal controls in the form of a management letter. So we have been very blessed over the years, and that's attributable to the dedication of people like David Fernandez and the staff that we have here. So,
Thank you, Ms. Fletcher. Congratulations. Okay, yes, Ms. Sorry.
Just to echo that, excuse me, Mr. Fernandez, you and your staff do a wonderful job. And it's almost like we're taking it for granted every year that we get in this award, but it's not an easy award to be recognized for throughout the state. So thank you for your continued hard work, and to your staff. And I just want to take a point of privilege of thanking Pat Aceveda. Also, as Ms. Voce said, she was our secretary for many years. Her and Sharon Capagna, and they were so dedicated, and Pat still is helping with this. But not only were they dedicated employees, but they were just dear friends to the school system and to all of us.
S&P, huh?
So thank you. Yes, S&P. So congratulations again, David, and thank you for your continued hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dysart. Mr. Long.
I'd like to also say thank you, David, for your efforts and your staff, and also for the voters and the people we represent, the residents of St. Bernard. They have confidence in our system, and because of your efforts and the accounting of this school system, I think it's fantastic. And to kind of piggyback on what Diana was saying about Sharon and we used to call them the dynamic duo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sharon and Pat.
Mm-hmm.
They were a great team,
They were.
and we're gonna miss them. Still do miss them.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Well, Mr. Fernandez, keep up the good work, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Move on to item number 6, is education. Ms. Lemoyne.
Thank you, Mr. England. Agenda item number 6 is a technology and cybersecurity update, and we have Ms. Lametta here with us.
Good evening. I want to just give you a brief update on the cybersecurity protocols that we've been implementing, what we have been doing, with the recent cyber attacks that have come in school systems and municipalities in multiple states. The State Office of Technology Services has been reaching out to the districts on calls and has really been a great guidance to us. They've been coordinating with the FBI, Office of Homeland Security, National Guard, and the state police to provide guidance to the districts on the best way to keep our data and our networks secure to prevent any future cyber attacks in our system. And the first thing they've asked us to do, which has made things uncomfortable for a lot of people, is basically to turn off and cut off internet access and slowly add critical services one at a time by IP address to protect ourselves from any intrusion from the outside. And that's sort of opposite of how firewalls, the internet has typically been set. Typically you have yourself and the internet and a firewall in between. And typically you block things that are known, for example, gambling or inappropriate sites, and there could be things you don't know you're not blocking. You just block the things you know. So the opposite is you now block everything and only allow what you know is trusted and secure and what's critical to operate. And that's their first line of defense to protect our network. So we have been cooperating with them and coordinating with them as we move through this process. The intention of these hackers is to gain access to the network so they can then encrypt data and hold us all for ransom for our data. So in addition to keeping the network secure, a second level of defense is to educate our users, because if they can't get in our network, if we lock all our doors and lock all our windows and only let people in we know, then they try to get people to let them in. And the way they do that is, as you've probably heard, is phishing emails. And by phishing emails, they may either use a known company logo, or they may use an email that would seem to come from Superintendent Voce to employees and urge them to click on a link. And if they click on that link, they would then download malicious code that would go onto that device that would lay in wait and collect usernames and passwords that people would type into that device and lay in wait and hold them and try to get into our network and into our systems. It's hard to detect when someone uses a true credential, a true username, and a true password to get in. You think it's your employee. So that's one of their most efficient ways to get in and get access to your data. So we've been working to educate our employees and then also put some safety mechanisms in the event that people do click on these things, some things to mitigate the risk. And that's our main goal right now. You can never prevent 100%, but we do have to do our best to mitigate the risk. And
The one thing they also mentioned, since we're working with teachers, and we just mentioned the teacher pay raise, right, is teachers tend to like to click on free websites and free things, and the state is telling us those are the most vulnerable websites, because if you're offering free and you're not charging, then you may not have a tight security, you may not be paying to keep your website secure, so you have people who could be compromising your website. So I know, I'd just like to end with, I know it's been frustrating for teachers and some other employees when they try to get to websites that they've been using, but we are following the protocol strictly. We're taking this security very seriously, and we are keeping the internet locked down and only opening up to critical sites that we need as we move through this phase with the internet. In addition to the internet, we're trying to keep our hardware safe. So by January of 2020, Microsoft will no longer support Windows 7 operating system. So we have in April started to migrate all of our computers and move them up to Windows 10 operating system. As you all know, we have mostly Chromebooks in the classrooms for the students, which are not Windows based, and they're not being affected by any of this. We do, however, have labs, desktop labs in our computers. So we have already imaged all those computers to Windows 10 in all of our schools, and we have some adult desktops that we're working by the end of this month to get re-imaged to Windows 10. We've re-imaged all of our teacher laptops to Windows 10. So that's our secondary layer of defense to also make sure our equipment is secure, because by Microsoft not supporting Windows 7 operating system, that means they're no longer going to create software updates or security patches. So we definitely want to get all of our equipment off of Windows 7 and onto Windows 10, and we're hoping to have that done by the end of this month, well in advance of the January date that Windows 7 is no longer supported. So the two main ways we're focusing right now on keeping our network secure, actually three. One is keeping the internet locked down so we cannot be attacked from the outside, educating our users not to let anyone in, and thirdly, keeping our hardware secure, keeping our virus protection updated, and keeping our Windows updated. So those are three things that we're being advised to do, and we've been at work since probably a month ago, really trying to keep those procedures in place.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lametta. We've all been seeing these cybersecurity issues making headlines, so thank you so much for your efforts in protecting our system, and thank you for the update. Any questions for Ms. Lametta?
I have one question.
Ms. Dysart?
Thank you, Ms. Lametta, for your proactiveness on this issue. Is this the transfer from the Windows 7 to 10? Is that a cost to the system?
We have Windows licenses that we have, so it is not a cost to the system. And as we bought devices over the years, they've come with Windows 10.
Okay.
And we've typically used Windows 7 because people were used to it. And that happens in many systems. You stick with what people are used to. But when you buy it new, you have the right to download the newest version, but you can always backtrack and use an earlier version if people are comfortable with it. So there is not a cost to it, you know.
Thank you, and thanks again for your aggressiveness in fighting this issue. We appreciate it.
If I could just take 1 second to just, get our soapbox for a second for people out there is not just the school system, but personally. People are going to try to get into your personal email and try to send phishing email, and I know a lot of people who use the same password for multiple things personally. Bank passwords, I would use bank passwords, one password for your bank. Don't use that same password for anything else. Don't use multiple passwords across multiple accounts. Don't, and even if it's a site for hobbying or crafts, don't use your, work email and work password, because if those sites are hacked, then people have access to your credentials. So it's many levels beyond just in the school system. You really have to know they're trying to get information on a lot of levels. So personally, as secure as you can keep your own data, your own accounts, I would just like to always try to talk to people about that, because I think people don't realize how many people are out there in different ways, especially in the cybersecurity realm. So,
any other questions for Ms. Lametta? Comments? Mr. Long?
Ms. Lametta, so Windows 10 would probably have more built-in security?
Yes, sir. As a matter of fact, Windows Defender that comes in Windows 10, in talking with the National Guard, the security that comes in Windows 10 is what many people can even just rely on. It's a phenomenal security, but in addition to Windows 10, we have a product that antivirus that we have on our computers, WebRoot, and we have a console that we can monitor it. So if there's any computer that is infected in any way or has any sort of activity that looks suspicious from remotely, we can clean. We can send a command. I do it from home sometimes. If something doesn't look right, I'll clean things on the weekend. We can just send a command remotely and clean a computer if it's left on. Teacher laptop left in the room, we can send a clean command and really stay on top of it. So in addition to Windows Defender, which they said will get you 99% of what you need, we have an additional antivirus on top of that.
So it's a good thing to even if Windows 7 wouldn't be going by the wayside, so to speak, it's probably better to upgrade to the Windows 10
Yes.
for security purposes.
Yes.
Okay.
Talk a little bit about the number of school systems affected in Louisiana.
It started out with 4, and I think up to now, it's up to 9 school systems in one way or another that have been affected in multiple ways. And like I said, their main goal is to not necessarily steal the data, but to get in and encrypt it so you can't use it, and then they can hold you for ransom. And there was a municipality in Florida that paid $600,000 to get their data back so they could continue to operate. So when they encrypt it with a code, and you can't you can see the file, but if you click on it, it's unreadable and unusable to you. So that's one of their main goals. And it's pretty easy money in the realm of what they do.
And there
It
was
doesn't
one
cost them
school
much.
district in Louisiana that could not do payroll in the month of July because they're.
Right. And one thing I mentioned to the teachers,
So when we start
yes.
talking about
Mhm.
affecting, go ahead,
Yes,
Mary.
in August, when I talked to the teachers, August 5th and 6th, the training, I said, I know it's inconvenient to not have the certain sites that you're used to, but it would be much more frustrating if you couldn't get your paycheck and we couldn't send money to the insurance company, you didn't have insurance. That would feel much worse. And at that point, whatever site you were trying to get to wouldn't have feel so important. So that's how serious it is. Some districts are no longer even letting companies send invoices through email. They're requiring the companies to send fax invoices because about a year ago, one of the big viruses came in through a fake invoice that their employees clicked on, and it was a phishing email, and it was an invoice. So some districts are not allowing teachers to even open email on their phones, so they can't even use district email on their phones. Many districts are taking their different approaches based on their own system and their own level of security. So we're taking it day by day. We're taking whatever advice they give us. As they see things happen in other districts, they're advising all of us as they see things go on. So like I said, it is a little convenient. People won't have access to a lot of the small things they've had before, but in the big picture, the security is more important. And we're just going to have to err on the side of caution at this point to keep our data and keep our system operating and still be able to pay our employees.
Okay. Thank you for staying ahead of the, protecting our system. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for Ms. Lametta? Thank you again, Ms. Lametta, and thanks to our teachers for being patient as we transition to these new protocols.
Yes, all the employees and teachers have done their best to understand, and the state tells us that teachers in the schools that are closer to the schools that have been affected, they understand it better, because they know people who've been affected. We're a little further, some districts up north, but it's still a reality in multiple states. So it's really something in this day and time, we're all gonna have to be aware of, not just and I keep saying that, not just here in the school system, but even in your personal life. Sometimes people don't realize the danger of websites, logging onto websites, downloading things, using multiple passwords across multiple accounts. It's just a day and time to start, taking security seriously, even at home.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for that advice for the public as well.
Thank you.
Okay, agenda item number 7 are the personnel changes for August 2019.
Okay.
As you can see in front of you, these are some appointments and transfers that we've just had. We're fully staffed on the teacher side of this. I do want to point out that Katie McNabb has been appointed the assistant principal at Chalmette Elementary School. I think we talked a little bit about that before, but I wanted to congratulate her again publicly. And she had been a teacher for many, many years and a teacher leader at Araby Elementary School, and has done an excellent job. Had done an excellent job in that capacity, a seasoned veteran, and I know she's going to do a tremendous job at Chalmette Elementary as the assistant principal. So just wanted to congratulate her publicly in her new position. And then you can see the rest of the changes that we have on the sheet.
Well, congratulations to Ms. McNabb. Any questions from Ms. Foche. Being none, move on to item number 8. Is Finance, Mr. Warner.
Thank you, Mr. England. This is item number 8, Louisiana Compliance Questionnaire. Mr. Fernandez, you want to talk about audit questionnaire?
Yes, I'll be happy to.
Thank you.
Okay, in your packets is the Louisiana Compliance Questionnaire. We are required to adopt this in conjunction with our audit, which will begin next month. Basically, it asks a series of questions. It asks for information about the school district and asks a series of questions regarding state laws and regulations regarding operation of governmental entities. So we are going to ask you to adopt this at your meeting. It also asks for information on all elected officials and principal administrators in the district. So the last page details that information, basically name, address, and phone number. So if before the regular meeting, if you could just review that and make sure your information is correct. This is the information that will be presented to the legislative auditor. So if you need to make any changes to the information, just let us know. We'll make the correction before the regular meeting. But we're just asking that you adopt this so that we can present it to our auditors when they come in to perform our financial and compliance audit.
Any questions from the board? Mr. Smith?
I'll make a motion that we accept it.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Smith, seconded by Mr. Long. Any other questions or discussion? Please cast your vote.
Motion passes 11-0. We just have a little extra. There you go, 11-0.
I didn't do that.
I don't know, you maybe hit it twice. It was somebody hit.
Thank you, Mr. Fernandez.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. England?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Warner. We'll move on to item number 9, the superintendent's recommendations. Ms. Foche.
Okay, I think we had an update with Super News, so the only thing I just want to reiterate, or the two things, is are that we had a very, very smooth opening of school, and we have welcomed all of our students back except our 4-year-olds, and they'll be coming very, very soon. But our kindergarten students all came yesterday, so after a half day on the first 2 days, or alternate days on the first 2 days. So everything is going along very nicely in that area. And I just want to remind everyone again, as Alex had done, for our annual Day of Reflection breakfast, Thursday, August 29th at 8:30, the 9th grade Academy Gymnasium. And tickets are available, and you can please call the school board office and ask for Shelby, and she'll be happy to assist anyone with tickets to the annual breakfast.
Thank you, Ms. Foche. And it's always a nice event. Move on to item number 10, adjournment. The motion by Mr. Campbell, second by Mr. Isard. All in favor? Aye. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you and good night.